Hey guys, welcome to the Final Whistle podcast, game week 13, and what a game it was. Some great results, and Liverpool going 9 points clear on the top with that emphatic 2-0 win over Man City. My word, I can't get my words out. I am that excited. Are Chelsea real title contenders with that impressive 3-0 win over Aston Villa? Arsenal are applying the pressure at the top with a 5-2 win over West Ham. And Amrim and his Man United reign continues, and it is a win, and misery just looms over Everton as far as I'm concerned. And there was a hat-trick of penalties and a hat-trick of who won the penalties as well in the Premier League, as well as Southampton winning their first away point against high-flying Brighton. So much to talk about, Ben. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I've actually had a migraine all day, but nothing in the world was going to stop me from coming on here and talking about the Liverpool game today. So I'm really looking forward to getting into it.
It's so much to get into. So you know what? Let's get into the big one. Everyone's been talking about this one. You don't even have to be a Liverpool fan. You don't even have to be a Man City fan. It has been the fixture of game week 13. Liverpool 2, Man City 0. I mean, as a Liverpool fan, I could get really used to that. I think the surprising thing was the lineup for Man City and obviously Edson being dropped. So talk to me about this one.
Yeah, I was talking to me mate before the game, and he came up with about six different. He'd heard what the lineup was going to be. He's one of those who
Is
in the know.
UNITK?
Yeah. And every 5 minutes he was messaging me like, "Oh no, it's changed to this now. It's changed to this." And then he did get it right in the end. But yeah, there's people talking about a five at the back, a three at the back, and I think in the end it ended up being pretty simple when on paper when it came to it. But yeah, I think Liverpool were better than them in every single department. And looking at the bench, I think they could have started any of them. I think Liverpool, they're just a better team at the minute, and I think the result would have been the same regardless.
Yeah, you and I spoke about this before the game, and obviously, like, it's just a case of just wanting to beat them, and obviously nerves creep in as well. That this is where they kind of get it right. But from your perspective, how amazing were Liverpool in the first 20 minutes? Like, it felt like I don't know, it felt like the old Liverpool. You know, when I say the old Liverpool, I mean like all those players peak in Jurgen Klopp era. They were just incredible. The pressing, we were so aggressive.
Yeah, it was. I think because obviously they flipped it, didn't they? So that we were kicking towards the cop in the first half. Maybe they thought that
Felt
would help,
strange
but
that.
yeah, it just made the start even harder for them, and then they completely lost their foothold in the game within the first 20 minutes. Like you said, Liverpool could have been 3 or 4 up. I mean, Van Dijk hits the post, puts one wide. But the first goal, Salah's assist for that first goal is out of this world. And I've seen people saying, "Oh," I saw some people saying it was a shot. It definitely wasn't. And I've seen some people saying, "Well, he's just putting it into an area." But if you look back, his head is constantly up, down,
Mm.
and he spots the run perfectly. And I mean, Gakpo quite literally couldn't miss, especially with Kyle Walker just staring into space. But yeah, the start was absolutely amazing. And like you say, it was really kind of reminiscent of that Jurgen Klopp kind of style where it's like really put the pressure on early.
Yeah, I think you know what really kind of frustrates me about that whole little. Looking back, hindsight is a wonderful thing. But as I was going through the motion in the game, I was like, we've missed so many big chances here. And 1-0, I don't feel safe. I don't feel secure because this is Man City, regardless of how bad they are. And like your anxiety crept into me, but I was trying to keep it really cool and calm. I mean, Virgil van Dijk could have had a hat trick. Uh, in this game, it was just absolute madness. The fact that he just kept, either he hit the crossbar, it was firing over. I just felt like, oh God, are these chances really going to bite us? But having said that, I actually think Man City were absolutely toothless, even when they made the Doku sub. I mean, yeah, he posed some kind of threat and there was some creativity. But as a whole, I feel like Liverpool as a unit were incredible. And I think we have to give a shout out to the likes of like Joe Gomez, who have been thrown into this game in a high pressure situation as well. And to keep a clean sheet as well. And if there was a little bit of a wobbler, and it was from our incredible defender who actually did really well throughout the whole game against Kevin De Bruyne, and it was Virgil van Dijk, and the goalkeeper saved his blushes. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I thought first half I wasn't worried at all. The only worry kind of I tweeted at halftime was that we weren't 2 or 3-0 up.
Yeah.
But I think they only had one shot in the first half. I'm sure it was
Yeah.
one shot, and it was that Rico Lewis shot that was quite pathetic. Just rolled past the post.
They did.
But then second half, I thought first 10, 15 minutes actually looked not great. I mean, to their standards, definitely not. But they looked a bit more controlled,
Yes.
and then obviously Doku comes on, and I know it looks like Doku was a bit of a threat, but all they were doing was just playing out to him every single time. And by the law of averages, he's gonna look threatening once or twice when he gets the ball every single minute. But I thought Trent defended really well today.
Yes.
And then Quansah came on. I was like, oh, he's putting Gomez right back, but apparently not. Quansah just played right back. I didn't know that was a thing.
That
But
shocked me. I can't lie.
yeah,
I was like, oh, okay. You staying
yeah,
there. Yeah, he did pretty well.
yeah.
But
Because when I saw Quansah coming on, I said to my brother who I was watching the game with, I said, that's strange that Quansah, he's surely not taking Gomez off. But obviously with Trent coming back and the penny dropped. But I did think Gomez would just go right back, but obviously not.
I thought
Um,
the same as you.
yeah. But I thought all the subs were brilliant. I thought Nunez was brilliant, absolutely putting himself about just his usual self. And Jones, when he came on, was just mugging them off with all the fancy flicks and that. So the performance had everything. But like you said, I was panicking a little bit when Salah missed that one-on-one because I was like,
Oh
"This is
gosh, yeah.
this is heading in." We've been here before, but the penalty, you'll show to see a better penalty than that.
Yeah, for me as well, I have to give a shout out to the midfield as well. I thought as a unit they worked really well. I think Szoboszlai had a really incredible game in this one. I felt like he was esteemed, the energy just running around. It just felt very fluid. We looked very together in the midfield. As for Man City, looked very disjointed, and you could see a lot of like grumbles. I saw a lot of like little, I don't know, petty arguments after Liverpool scored, and we just looked like we were on it. We just looked more together. We looked more compact. And you spoke about Trent there and his defensive work, which I don't think gets enough acknowledgement. But my word, that ball to find Mo
Yeah,
Salah, oh my God, I actually had to think, who did that? And then when they went back, I was like, of course it was him. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah. He was brilliant today, Trent. I mean, considering it's his first game in
yeah,
probably looking at about 3 weeks now, and he didn't look off the mark at all. I thought it was one of his best performances this season, probably.
agreed.
Um, but yeah, that ball to Salah is an absolute joke. And Salah we haven't seen Salah that kind of direct in quite a while. But that ball reminds me a bit of Salah's goal against Arsenal last season, where he turns Zinchenko out and Trent sprays the ball over. But yeah, it's just so many ways that this Liverpool team's beating teams at the minute, and I think Man City just didn't know what to do with themselves. Whether it was Gravenberch and McAllister playing straight through them in the middle, or getting the ball out the Gakpo or Salah, they just couldn't handle them at all. And I thought the golfing class was quite scary to see if you're a Man City fan.
Yeah, and I think it's now beyond the point of it's a Rodri thing. I just feel like the confidence is so low right now with the amount of games that they've lost and the performances that they've put in as well. I mean, like, I'm sure you heard or saw the news about Man City in the Champions League, and obviously they're on Amazon Prime, but to throw away a 3-0 advantage against, Slot's former side, Feyenoord, I'm sure he was thrilled, but the confidence just isn't there. It's almost like a lack of belief, a lack of self-belief, and it's all new to them because I don't think they've ever had such adversity as a team, nor has Pep Guardiola. It's really going to be fascinating to see how this unravels. I mean, everyone does overcome everything eventually, but
Yeah,
I'm intrigued to see how long it goes on. I mean, does it go on for decades?
yeah, yeah.
We're
Hopefully,
hoping.
yeah. I don't know. It's a strange one because, like you say, the mentality just seems absolutely shot, which is so bizarre to see from them. But
Yeah,
like you say, it's not just a Rodri problem because going forward, I thought they were absolutely hopeless.
yeah, they're toothless.
Yeah, Foden has been quite shameful, I think, this season. I mean, he won Player of the Year last season, didn't he, Foden? I'm
Yeah,
not
he
just
did.
saying that. And this season, I saw Sky Sports said a stat before the game, and I couldn't believe it. Out of the starting lineup today, only Haaland had scored a Premier League goal for them this season.
Oh yeah, because Gvardiol was on the bench as
Yeah.
well, wasn't he? Sorry, this is
So
what I mean. Like we're actually really scraping, and this team was plagued with goals. Like they could literally
yeah,
come from anywhere. I mean, Company got them the winning goal that got them the championship. Like
yeah,
like that's who they were. Wow, I mean, like I think Foden just stanked the place out since obviously the whole thing happened with the Euros and stuff, and I don't think he's been quite back to what he was. I mean, let's talk about the defensive mishaps as well that happened for Man City for the penalty for Mo Salah. Now, be honest with me, when Mo Salah steps up for that, you were at the game at Madrid. Were you a little bit worried that he might miss this? Did something creep in for you?
It was actually kind of the opposite because obviously he just missed that chance, and I was thinking, oh, this second half's not going well for him. But then I clicked in my head and I was like, oh, he missed during the week. He surely does not miss twice in 3 days.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was an absolutely brilliant penalty. But yeah, the build up to the penalty just summed Man City up so much. Like Ruben Diaz, what was he doing today? The amount of times he was letting the ball bounce and taking extra touches, and honestly, it was just suicidal from them. Really, it was just so stupid from them and so unnecessary. But you've got to force them mistakes, and that's exactly what Liverpool done. Whether it was Diaz, Nunez, Gakpo, Salah, Szoboszlai, every single one of them ran the socks off. So at the minute, mentality is above Man City, quality is above Man City. We're just better than Man City. It's simple as.
Simple as like. Let's move on swiftly. I think we've spoke about Liverpool there at length. Right, Ben, I'm going to hand you the rein now. Where should we go? Who should we talk about next?
Let's go with Chelsea, Aston Villa.
Let's go with this one. It finished 3-0 to Chelsea. I felt like, I don't know, maybe the Champions League is, and the caliber of teams that you're kind of playing is kind of maybe affecting Aston Villa. Because obviously it's not just Europe, because they have played Europe, but you're forced to play at a better level.
Yeah.
I feel like they're kind of running out of steam. I felt like they started off really slow, which I think Chelsea completely embarked and imposed themselves on. Jackson early goal. And I felt like when those 2 early goals kind of happened, it just felt like there was no way back for Aston Villa, or they struggled to find inspiration. Like, that's watching the game, that's what I felt. Even in the second half, I was like, I can't see you doing anything.
Yeah, the one thing I notice is like at the minute it's Watkins or it's nothing. Like their plan literally does just seem to be get the ball to Watkins and see what he can do. I mean, they're like Jaden Philogene played today, and he's still a young lad, and I'm sure he'll grow, but he doesn't look ready. And Leon Bailey's nowhere near as good as what he was last season.
Yeah.
But they are giving a lot in the Champions League. I mean, they're doing well in the Champions League as well, but
Yeah,
they
they
seem
are.
to be putting a lot of kind of energy and focus into that. And I mean, they're down to 12th now, winless in the last 8. It's a really, really poor run for them. And I mean, I'm sure they'll turn it around. They've got the quality to turn it around, but that run, no matter who you are, it's a really, really poor run.
It is. And I feel like there is this thing about a new team that enters the Champions League and it does affect their league form. We saw it with Newcastle, and it is an absolute killer. It's not just about being in Europe, because Aston Villa have experience of that. It's who you're playing and what competition you're actually playing in. And credit to Aston Villa, they have played some big boys. They've recently faced Juve, they beat Bayern Munich. They have been doing pretty well. So yeah, I think that is a contributing factor for them. As for Chelsea, I do feel like, I asked you a few weeks ago, are they a serious contender? I think the same question was asked to Enzo Maresca as well, and he played it down, and rightly so. You've got to be smart to play it down. You have to. I think they definitely are a top 4 side, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Back.
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear who the 4 best teams in the league are. Well, Man City are kind of making that a bit hard at the minute, but obviously we expect them to turn that around. But I think you'd be pretty safe to say that Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City, Chelsea are the most likely top 4 at the end of the season. I'm really impressed with Chelsea as well. Maresca came in and a lot of people were a bit skeptical of him. I wasn't sure whether he was ready to step up, but he's got them playing some nice football. And Nicholas Jackson, really struggled at times last season, but he looks so composed, and he's one of the top scorers in the league. And Enzo Fernandez hasn't really played, and then he's come into the side and he looks really good. So everything just seems to be going well, and they seem to have worked on the defensive stuff a bit as well, because I think that was one of the main things we'd pointed out in the early part of the season, was how poor they looked defensively. But today they were, I mean, barring a few dodgy moments which they'll need to get rid of, but overall they looked really, really comfortable and deserved the win.
They did. And of course, Cole Palmer getting the 3rd goal, which I thought was a brilliant personal kind of little effort from him as well. Good to see him scoring for Chelsea, I guess, if you're trying to be a neutral, but this is a Liverpool site, so let's just keep that where it is. Right, let's talk about Manchester United. Theatre of dreams, eh? 4-0 against Everton. 2 goals for Zexi, 2 goals for Rashford. Ahmad with 2 assists. Definitely a step in the right direction. I feel like this is exactly how Man United should perform against a team like Everton. It seems very convincing on all fronts.
Yeah, I didn't see much of the game during the week, but I heard there was a few little kind of blips in that game. But today they seem to have kind of put it all together. And I mean, by the looks of things, Everton weren't great. I mean, I didn't watch the game fully, but
They've not
I've
been
looked
great all
at it.
season, though, have they, Ben?
Yeah, they're
That's the
sort of
thing.
inspiring.
Yeah.
But Man United, do you know the biggest difference I've noticed is the body shape in the players? They just all look so much more interested. And I mean, today it pains to say it, but Bruno looked really, really strong for them. And I've seen a lot of Man United fans giving a bit of stick to Ahmad, kind of saying, he's maybe not good enough. But again, today he looked absolutely electric for them. So, and his contract's up at the end of the season, so it'll be interesting to see whether they can get that done. But yeah, it's a step in the right direction. Hopefully they can take another step in the right direction and do us a favour and beat Arsenal during the week, but I'm not holding my breath.
Yeah, we are hoping. My
Yeah.
mum's a United fan. I was like, please do something good for us. It would
Yeah.
be nice. I agree with you on Ahmed. I think he's a really good talent. I think United have some really good young players. And I think Amorim will probably be looking at that. They've got the likes of Mainu, they've got the defender Yoro, they've got Garnacho as well. I feel like this is the way you kind of go, because those are the players where I think the threat comes. I mean, I know you got Bruno Fernandes, his quality, but I think that's, like you're building for the future. I think United fans will want him to stay, but it was a fantastic result, a fantastic performance, and things are just looking absolutely dreadful for Everton. I've seen a few fans on social media calling for Sean Dyche's head.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because it's one of those where if you play in the style of football that he plays and you get results, it's fine. But if you play that style of football and you're not getting results, then it's very, very hard to be inspired or kind of even look forward to watching the games. I said it last week. I think Everton are undoubtedly the one team nobody wants to watch in the league. Like if you had to choose a team to watch, like if you see Everton's on telly on a Sunday, you go, oh, what a waste of a TV slot. And I've just looked at the fixtures coming up as well. I think they've got Wolves next, which obviously isn't easy because Wolves will want to bounce back from what happened this weekend, and they've got threats. But then Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City is the 4 after that.
Ooh.
So if they get no points out of that, they'll be well amongst the relegation zone, and then that question really does start to fall on Dyche. But then again, for them fixtures, you probably want Dyche in charge because he probably gives them a decent chance of getting something. But it's not looking good for them at all.
It's not. And like you just spoke about, they take up a TV slot. I mean, if you want to ruin your weekend, put Everton on a 12:30. If you're an Everton fan, it's ruined. And if you're not and you're watching, you will want to just, eject yourself from earth. Let's talk about the last Sunday game and then we'll move on, eh? Ben, Tottenham won, Fulham won. I don't know what to make of Tottenham, right? Because obviously Foster's in for the injured Vicario, which obviously makes sense. Johnson gets them a goal. Werner with an assist, 2 assists now for him back to back, which is pretty awesome. It's good to see him kind of find a run of form. But even though, and of course, Kearney gets the goal and gets 2 yellows and gets sent off. But for me, when I'm looking back at the stats, because again, I didn't watch this game, it wasn't on TV, it was on whilst the Aston Villa game was on. It just seemed like the away team dominated more than Tottenham did. I mean, they had 6 shots on target to Spurs' 3. I mean, it just didn't feel like an inspiring game overall. But if a team was going to win, their XG was higher as well. But if a team was going to win, it looked like it was going to be Fulham.
Yeah, that's what I took from it as well. That's what I took from, like social media comments during the game. And I've seen the highlights since, and Fulham did have the better chances, but it's so frustrating for Tottenham. Like, how can you go from smashing Man City?
Yeah.
And then the draw against a really poor Roma team during the week as well at home, and then draw against Fulham. And like I said last week, that if they'd beat Ipswich a few weeks ago, they would have been third. So then if they'd won today, with what's going on with Man City and Forest and Brighton, as good as they've been, aren't expected to keep it up. Like I think out of all the teams, I think they're the one to put a threat on Chelsea and Man City in that top four kind of contention. But with results like that, you're just not going to get anywhere. We've been saying it for so long. You could probably put what we've said the past 10 weeks on repeat for Tottenham. But yeah, Fulham definitely deserved the point. And I don't know if you saw Kenny's tackle, but it was an absolute awful tackle. The red
So
card.
no debate from you then. I think for
No.
me as well, Spurs are probably the most frustrating side. Like when you look at how the season's unpanning and how anyone can beat anybody, and you look at the quality that they've got in their squad and the manager that they've got as well, I think their fans and they'll be just kicking themselves all the way. Like you said, they could have been third. They could have been well in that mix, and like they're very up and down.
Yeah, I think if they beat Ipswich and beat today, which I know like it's stupid saying ifs all the time, but them are two
Yes.
games that they should win, they'd be second. So like that, it's a fine margins between. I don't think I've seen a team in a long time with such a high potential ceiling and then such a low.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's. I'd be pulling my hair out if I was a Tottenham fan.
That's homework for everyone. I'm going to think about this as well. I'm going to think about, I'm really going to think about this. Right, we've done all the Sunday games. Ben, where should we go next?
I guess we'll start with Arsenal.
Let's do Arsenal.
Yeah.
What did you make of this? So it finished West Ham 2, Arsenal 5, all 7 goals in the first half.
What a mental game.
What a mental game. I mean, yeah, Arsenal were pretty much 3-0 up. They looked very comfortable and 4-0 then. And then you're like, oh, it's game over. And then Aston Villa West Ham have a little bit of an awakening, should we say? Because obviously they beat Newcastle on Monday, so you thought, oh, okay. And yeah, for me, I don't know what's happening with West Ham. I just don't. And I'm going to give a lot of credit to Arsenal here because Arsenal were incredible. They just had that little wobbler. But Odegaard, for me, again, is just making Saka, giving him so much space. And the defence of West Ham needs working. They brought Kilman in from Wolves.
Yeah, he looks really shaky.
And he was one of the most sought after defenders in terms of, those tier kind of teams. Like people were looking at him. Really bad.
Yeah, they spent a lot of money in the summer, and
they have.
I'm not just saying this, but I said at the start of the season that I don't like a thing where I had to say like overperformers, underperformers, and I put West Ham as the underperformers because they spent that much, and I really don't rate the manager. Not to like kind of point all things at him, but I don't think he's a good manager. I don't know how he's managed Real Madrid. I don't know how he landed that job, but defensively they're all over the place, absolutely all over the place. But yeah, like I say, Arsenal were really good. We can't just kind of say it was just because of West Ham. But like I say, Odegaard he's so good to watch. He's such a good player.
The way he finds space, the way he finds his plays in tight little spaces, the way he released Saka for the first goal. Yeah. I mean, he's breathtaking to watch. Like he is, like it is what it is. And with regards to West Ham, I mean, they scored I thought both of the goals were absolutely wonderful. The free kick was an absolute bullet, and I think in the second half, didn't Inks have like a pretty decent chance where he just kind of like popped it up? I mean, to me, the game was just gone. It was beyond reach. I feel like they just kind of lack inspiration. And we'll have to watch this space with West Ham. I don't know whether their aspirations are higher than what their ceiling is. That's by the owners. That's something that maybe we need to maybe figure out and think about in the future. Right, so we spoke about them. Let's talk about a 3:00 kickoff. Let's go here. Wolves 2, Bournemouth 4. A hat-trick of penalties and a hat-trick of a player that won the fouls in Evanilson. This seemed like a really fun game. It all kind of kicked off within 8 minutes. Like it just seemed like the score updates were going wild on this one. So what did you make of this one?
I don't even know where to begin. I guess the place to begin is Wolves defensively. Just my God, talk about shambolic defending. I mean, allowing them to get in the positions that we're getting into in the first place is bad enough, and then the first one he wipes them out, and then the goalkeeper fouls him twice, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And I'm sure on the third one, the keeper lies down as if he's knocked out to try and avoid getting booked or something. It was just such a mental game. But Wolves look, it's so frustrating because they smashed Fulham last week, and then you think, oh, here we go, they're starting to click, but then back to square one again, and yeah.
And I think that's the alarming thing, isn't it? Like, if you think about it, the 3 penalties that they've conceded. You and I spoke about Wolves a few weeks ago, where we kind of, I think it was Meadow, where we said he keeps giving away the same stupid foul for penalties. He did it against Liverpool on Jota, and then he did it the following week. The team
Brentford
was it Brentford, but that's the problem, right? The defensive mishaps. You spoke about Sarr there, conceding 2 penalties, and I remember him having an absolute stinker against Chelsea, where Gary O'Neill actually dropped him for the next game.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going to happen there, but that needs ironing out. I mean, credit to Bournemouth, they are a decent side. They have lost to a very good side. I think you and I enjoy watching them play, but that's just so frustrating, because at one point it did turn to 3-2 and it looked like game on, and the Wolves fans really seemed up for it, and then just to squander it again is just, it'll be very frustrating. I can imagine that. Right, where should we go next?
Let's go with Brentford, Leicester.
Oh, let's talk about this one. So they've got a brand new manager in Ruud van Nistelrooy. It finished Brentford 4, Leicester 1, another hat-trick, but not with penalties. So talk to me about this one.
Yeah, I mean, Leicester went 1-0 up, but Brentford deserved the win. Brentford were by far the better team. I might do a U here. I might pronounce his name completely wrong. Kevin Schade.
You're right. That's what I say. So you're right in my books.
Yeah. Obviously gets a hat-trick, and a lot of the credit goes to Bremo and Vissa. They've been brilliant this season, but it seems like they've got
an assist as well for Vissa's goal, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it seems like they've got another dangerous player going forward, and they signed him last season, I'm pretty sure, and he got a really bad injury or has had a few injuries. So it's interesting to see what they'll do with that many options up front. And I don't know whether you saw. Do you see Fabio Carvalho's dad comment on the Instagram?
I haven't, no, but I've seen rumours that he's being linked to a loan move away. That's what I'm reading. So what did he say?
But I saw on social media, Brentford had posted something, and his dad commented, "You need to get out of that club, son," underneath, which is bizarre because I don't know. It sounds like a text message you'd send to. I don't know whether. Surely it's true, because I doubt anyone's got like a fake account of Fabio Carvalho's dad. But
yeah, someone's got too much time on their hands, and that seems like a very dad who's not up to date with technology kind of. It is, right? Let's be honest.
So, like, with him playing well, Schade, I don't know where Carvalho is going to get his game time, which is a shame because I really liked Carvalho when he was at Liverpool, but his career seems to be kind of spiraling down a little bit, and it's hard to see, but he could definitely do without his dad posting stuff like that.
Yeah, he did come on, and he did have a chance towards the end of that game. But I'm glad that the manager kind of saw beyond that and still gave him a little chance. But I'm gonna have to do my research on that. But thank you for the insight, Ben. In the know with all the social media gossip. I mean,
I hope I haven't dreamt that. I hope I haven't dreamt it and just made it up.
I mean, with regards to Leicester, though, I think, again, defensively, they're absolutely shocking. I think Fairs is just awful. Like, I'm not even being horrible there. I just think he's absolutely dreadful. But I think Ruud van Nistelrooy has got a bit of a job on his hands. Let's just be absolutely honest. And, I do find it a bit concerning and a bit alarming that it's the old boys that are kind of leading their attack. I know Brennan Nortis scored and looks like a young, exciting player. But when you look at, like, AU and Vardy, like, I think you need legs. I believe that.
Even then, on that goal, Vardy does all the hard work.
Yeah, he does.
Kind of dispossessing the centre back and then playing it across. He's got a really tough job on his hands, Van Nistelrooy, and it'll be interesting to see because he's a promising manager, no doubt about that. But he'll probably bring back the feel-good factor around the place, I guess. But like I said last week, I think Moyes would have maybe been a smart appointment for where they are. But the way they were playing yesterday, they're going to get cut open by a lot of teams. and it's a bit worrying for them. And yeah, it seems like one of those teams where if it's not Vardy doing the work for them, no one really seems to be pulling the weight, and it's really worrying for them. But I think they'll go down. To be honest, I think
I think you're right.
yeah.
I'd agree with you. And I think the shining light for them is probably their goalkeeper, who
Yeah.
seems to be a player that's really actually trying to do something. Right, let's move on. Where to next?
We'll go Crystal Palace, Newcastle, 1-1.
Really? Right. Okay. So
Yeah.
it finished Palace 1, Newcastle 1. Eze was back. I guess the shocking thing for Newcastle here was Isak, I think, went off injured. They've got Liverpool next. It finished 1-1. What I found absolutely bizarre was Newcastle had 0 shots on target. Obviously, Gay scored the own goal, but 0 shots on target.
I didn't know that. That's a mental stat. That's a crazy stat.
Yeah, 0 shots on target. And Palace, I mean, it looked like an uninspiring game, but it looked like Palace were probably the team that I think Newcastle were lucky to get a point, basically.
Yeah.
If you have 0 shots on target, I'm not being funny, you are very blessed to come away with a point.
Yeah, especially against a Palace team that have not exactly been strong defensively or in terms of structure. Teams have been able to cut them open quite easily, so it's a big concern. And that kind of performance for them. And I've seen a few Newcastle fans saying how to be sacked. I know people keep on saying this, and then they win a game and they love them again. But they've got tough games coming up: Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do over the winter break in January, because by then they could be really amongst mid-table. But Palace definitely deserved the win. I thought Palace were the better team.
Yeah. I mean, like, we've not even spoke about was it Munoz? I think that's his name. His miss where Sarr sets him up. I mean, like, that is, like, for me, the miss of the week as far as I'm concerned. I mean, he did score, but I'm alarmed that, like, it was an injury time kind of equalizer, because, like you said, I felt like I think Palace are slowly growing into this now. I feel like, like they maybe are
very
coming
slowly.
into
Very slowly, but they are definitely improving. And I've seen, obviously, with the way they are, like where they're sitting in the table, obviously questions are going to go over Glasner, but I would give that a bit more time. But they've got Ipswich on Tuesday, and they've got a really hard running, so they need to turn it around sooner rather than later. But Eze is back for them, which will be a boost for them. He was back at the weekend, so that's good news for them.
And look quite lively as well, just constantly in the box, outside the box. He's got a shot on him. That goals will come from him. So things in that regard do look a little positive for Palace. As for Newcastle, you're only playing Liverpool next, and it's.
Yeah, Isaac's injured as well now.
Yeah,
he went off injured. So from a Liverpool point of view, that's good news. But from Newcastle, he's always injured. Him and Wilson, between the two of them, I'd love to see how many games they've missed through injury.
And what I find really alarming about the whole Isak thing is he's always in the transfer news.
Yeah.
People are always linked with him. I'm like, have you not, like, he's good. He's technically very gifted. He's a great finisher. Yeah. Everything considered. He's always bloody injured. I mean, it's just something to consider, in my opinion. Yeah. I see the likes of Arsenal being linked to him and, those kind of teams. So, yeah, we'll have to watch this space on this one. Oh, we've got some comments. I was so busy talking to you. Let's show that one. Newcastle, we like this. It's by Spider LFC. Newcastle lose to Liverpool, beat City and draw with Arsenal. We like your thinking.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, and Midnight Talker, they're saying sounds good to me. So there's some agreement there in the comment section. Right. Where should we go next? 2 games, I think.
Yeah, we'll do Forest Ipswich.
Do you want to do that
Get
one?
The Saturdays out, yeah.
Yeah, let's do the Saturday's game. Right, so Nottingham Forest 1, Ipswich 0. I'm gutted Ipswich lost. What did you make of this one? I mean, Wood scores. It's a penalty.
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest game by the looks of things, but it's kind of one of those where, to be fair, you're seeing teams, and we're going to talk about another one, but teams down there, they are starting to improve, well, other than Wolves maybe, are starting to improve defensively. I think they're starting to kind of become a bit more solid. And I think Ipswich is. But yeah, Forest had chances to win by more, and Ipswich as well had a few moments. Hutchinson looked like a big threat, and there was one where, I don't know if you saw, where Delap took it off Chaplin, where the ball kind of fell to Chaplin and he was just about to shoot, and Delap took it off him. And
that was a mishap. It was
yeah,
communication.
yeah. It wasn't a great game. I think Forest's kind of experience and quality just kind of pulled them through in the end.
No, for sure. I was just really gutted for Ipswich, but I think this is a really good result for Forest, because obviously they've had 2 losses now, so it's good to see them kind of, winning, and obviously Chris Wood breaking a record. I think he's a joint top scorer or something for the club, and
I think he's equaled John Barnes. If I could be wrong on that, but I think that's who he's equaled. I think it's John Barnes who holds.
Wow, okay, go you. But it's good that they've got a goal scorer in, but it did take a penalty to beat Ipswich, but we want Ipswich to turn it around because we like them, we like watching them play football. But yeah, a bad day at the office for Ipswich. Right, last game, Brighton. Now, you're playing on a Friday. You have a chance to go second. You're playing the bottom of the side, Southampton. Massive points dropped here. I think massive point for Southampton. Take nothing away, but if I'm a Brighton fan or I'm Brighton, I'm absolutely kicking myself. Mitoma gets the goal. You expect that from him. He's just a bright spark. But as a whole, though, I mean, if anything, you could have actually argued that maybe at the end, Southampton were the winners with that goal. I mean, what did you make of that goal that got disallowed?
I think I might get a bit of stick for this, but I actually think it's the right decision.
No!
Yeah, I know. I haven't seen anyone say it, but unless I'm seeing something different, I don't know. But he does go to play the ball, the striker in the middle, and that.
But everyone does. If you think about it, then every goal should be ruled offside, because as soon as you're in the box, you are interfering. Like, let's be honest. Like, that is your intent. Be honest, Ben. You play football. You're in the box. I cross the ball. You're in an offside position, but one of our teammate is not in an offside position, scores. You are interfering because your intention is to score. So I think then if anyone's offside in the box, then it should be just scrapped.
I don't know, because unless I'm being harsh on him, just don't be offside. Because just don't be offside and we wouldn't have this problem. He's looking right across the line, and the reason why I say it is because he does go towards, and the keeper adjusts his position expecting him to shoot, and then he doesn't, so he is kind of interfering with play, and he takes a defender out of the game, because I think it's Van Heck follows him all the way and goes sliding right across the block. That's the only reason I did think he is interfering with play, but I get why people are annoyed. If it was Liverpool, I'd probably be annoyed, but
you're bloody giving Terry McDermott a run for his money. I'm not liking you. I don't care.
I mean, look, by the rules, it probably is the right decision, but whether we agree with them rules is obviously, it's a stage in everyone's interpretation. But yeah, I was actually leaning towards it being the right decision.
And I think right now the rules are so open to interpretation because each referee has their own definition of them.
Yeah.
So we're not wrong in that we can have different opinions. For me, I felt like it should have stood. Like, I felt like it was a little harsh, but at the same time, I've seen them given 1,000 times, so it's not like I'm shocked or perplexed, shall we say.
Yeah.
But a massive, huge point for Southampton on the road to Brighton, who are a very, very good side. So they'll take confidence from that, no doubt. Ben, we've spoke about everything in game week 13. Anything you kind of want to get off your chest? Anything you want to talk about?
I don't know. I don't think there was many. I know last week I said refereeing, but I don't think there's been that many this weekend, unless I'm missing a few obvious ones. But no, I don't think there's anything I'm too angry about this week, actually.
No, I think that's just one of those things. I think I would have been really annoyed at the referee if the result didn't go our way, because I just feel like nothing gets given to Mo Salah. That's just personally my take on it. But I feel like when the result goes your way, you kind of ignore those little, those annoying things in a game. But yeah, I feel like he has to get wrestled to the floor. And
every
still
time.
Yeah.
And it's not even just as if, like, the fullback's kind of like right up on his back and like grabbing his. You can literally see the shirt is like this far off him all the time, like, and they're not giving it. And the annoying thing in the first half, especially, is the fact that the linesman's right there as well,
Yeah.
and the fourth official's there, right there as well. So I don't know how none of them are seeing it, but yeah, it's something that we've grown so used to it over years now, and it just seems to be getting worse because his game has changed to like he is expected to hold the ball up a bit more than what he ever has done. So we're seeing it more often, and yeah, it's just I've never seen a player be so unprotected by referees. But
For sure. Right, Ben. Well, because you give me that little tidbit of Cavalio's dad, you're going to be the social media in the know. I expect some fantastic tidbits again next week.
some
That's
gossip.
your assignment.
Yeah.
And I'll think about a team that is more Jekyll and Hyde than Spurs. Like, I'm going to think about this, or a team or a season. But guys, that is us on the Final Whistle podcast. Ben, before I let you go, we're not doing a final whistle midweek because you and I are on the graveyard shift on Anfield Index, aren't we? We're doing the whole post-match stuff and helping out.
Yeah.
So where can people find you on social media? Anything you'd like to plug?
Yeah, so Ben Pescod Journal on Twitter, you'll find all my work. There should be some nice stuff about the game. Obviously, everyone's enjoyed the game. I'm interviewing Stan Collymore and Danny Murphy tomorrow.
Nice. Amazing.
So I'll get some good articles out on Anfield Index about that. So definitely keep an eye out for that.
Keep an eye out on that. I will too. I look forward to it. Ben, you're doing fantastic work, by the way, both on Anfield Index and on EPL. So guys, give Ben a follow. Check out his content. And for my part, I do Euro Incision. But guys, thank you so much for joining us live. We really appreciate it. We really appreciate the comments. Got a bit sidetracked today, kind of missed some, but we'll improve. We're all new to this streaming stuff. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Take care. Till next time, up the Reds.